So let's talk about One Nation. We're seeing this massive surge in support for the party, and that, to be honest, doesn't surprise me at all. New research suggests that One Nation may have enough votes to form opposition in federal parliament. You spoke to One Nation leader Pauline Hanson over the weekend on your show Outsiders. Let's just listen.
If we get the number one vote and we get the majority of the votes, the majority of the lower house seats, yes, we can form government. But it's a big ask. And I'm being honest with myself and honest with people. But it is possible. But I think that we'll probably get government in the states before eventually in the federal parliament. But there's nothing stopping us from being opposition first, then working our way towards government.
What do you put Pauline Hanson's success down to at the moment? I mean, is it authenticity, speaking up for the silent majority?
Yeah, it's authenticity. It's also people know what she stands for,
yeah.
Right? So nobody knows actually what the Liberal National Coalition stands for at the moment. That's why they split up. The Nats have some pretty clear positions, particularly around green energy and all of that sort of nonsense. And, but within the Libs, they can't even agree on a migration policy at a time when migration is rocketing up the charts of issues people are concerned about, Gab. So this is the crazy thing. They can't even say the words mass migration. They haven't even been able to agree on that terminology. So no wonder they're bleeding support. This is why I say, going back, if you change the leader, you still don't have a platform, and they still need to develop that. Whereas Pauline Hanson, she has been in the game for decades, 20, 30 years. So we know what she stands for. Even if you don't like everything she stands for, you know what she and her party stands for. And I think right now, when everybody sort of sees this as kind of a uniparty choice that's eventually developing here between, the Libs as kind of a Labour light sort of thing and, and not really connected to grassroots people. That's why people agree with her. But on the other hand, if she actually wants to be in opposition, they're going to have a plan for running candidates in seats, including seats in urban areas.
Yeah.
And that's going to be tricky.
Yeah, it absolutely will be. And look, I think, as you say, authenticity, knowing what she stands for, I mean, I think that's why you have to where you have to credit Donald Trump for his success as well. Like him or not, you know exactly where he stands. And it's interesting, while I was over in the US, a lot of people were speaking to me about Pauline Hanson. I mean, her name was what was really cutting through. Let's talk about the United States.
Sure.
A lot going on over there. I want to get your thoughts on the Democrats in particular. Gavin Newsom, favourite, not so much. But look, he's just announced one day after the US officially withdrew from the World Health Organization that his state would become the first to join the World Health Organization in, of course, a rebuke of the Trump administration's withdrawal. What do you make of Gavin Newsom, his moves recently, clearly trying to be the Dems' nominee?
There's no secret about this. I mean, this is the biggest open secret, and I think he will. And I think he will be the next nominee. This whole thing with the WHO, entirely predictable, although you kind of wonder, what does he know? What is he privy to about some sort of future pandemic? But anyway, we'll put that aside there. Trump was right to pull out of the WHO. The WHO behaved atrociously during the COVID pandemic.
Absolutely.
And so, he was right to do that. But what's really interesting about Newsom is he's trying to get this sort of alternate president thing happening right now. So he was at Davos. He was at the World Economic Forum. And, he was mixing it up and giving all sorts of weird quotes. I spoke a lot about it on the U.S. Report, which is now at its new time of 8:30 on Friday nights, by the way.
Fantastic.
It is fantastic. And he also wound up mixing it up with the Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent, wound up posting a fairly kind of iffy, slightly homophobic meme about him, which was pretty interesting. I don't know how that goes down in California, but okay. But yeah, he's running as kind of this alternate government. The really interesting thing right now being that America is at this really tricky space right now where the left and the right and the Democrat states and the Republican states are actually starting to genuinely come apart in some disturbing ways, which we're seeing like in Minnesota.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.